Coming up on the front line of filth.
Look, it says no fly tipping.
Malvern's enforcement officers take a stand.
We need a bigger sign and a big hand that comes out and goes.
It's eau de Sewage for a trainee bogbuster in Surrey.
It's got an eggy smell, it's got a fatty smell, a foul smell.
And catch me if you can, a dodgy scrap dealer in Durham.
And then he clocks him. He's off like a rabbit.
Who's banged to rights.
I'm assuming you haven't got a scrap metal collector's licence for Durham? No.
I can't get a job. Like a proper job. You can find us a job what's going to make 500 quid. We're doing like mine.
The green and pleasant landscape of the Malvern Hills in Worcestershire. Famed for one of the Queen's favourite tipples, its natural spring water, and its fly tips.
It stinks. There's human excrement, there's rotting food over there.
Some used nappies.
Crime scene, yeah. Grime scene.
But the region's two most hardened waste warriors,
Pick it all up.
Enforcement Officer Dan
That's horrible. Yeah, it is cold and it is squishy.
and partner in Grime, Jude,
Horrible. Not necessary.
have seen it all.
Right, let's get rid of this bag of poo.
2/3 of fly tips contain household waste. So Jude and Dan want Malvern to understand the scrap fly tipping code. Use legitimate waste removers or face an unlimited fine. But no matter how hard they preach,
You have a responsibility to make sure your waste is removed properly. Have a read of the leaflet and make sure that you tell everybody, you know.
OK, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
or how loud they sing,
What shall I do with me old fridge freezer?
What shall I do with me smelly mattress?
What shall I do with me old TV cabinet? What was it? I don't even know what it was.
Chuck it in a lay-by.
Oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, don't do that. Oh no, don't do that. Take it to the tip.
the message just isn't hitting home. It's 10:30 a.m. Jude and Dan have been called to investigate a fresh fly tip in a lay-by on Western Hill.
Look at that. It looks like a junkyard.
Where there's grime, there's crime. And the first task of the day, find any clues that could lead them to the offender.
Should we go and have a look to see whether there's anything in it?
Yes, let's.
Oh, wow.
That's sizable. Would you scrapyard maybe? I don't know.
If they identify the culprit, these enforcement officers can issue a £400 fine or take them to court.
That does appear to all be car pieces, doesn't it?
How many?
At least 15.
There's a toilet.
Oh, this is a bit crap. Kitchen unit.
Yeah.
It's a fridge. I'm getting really tired of this type of fly tip. This is a fly tip that does make me angry. Not safe, danger.
It's just the most selfish thing in the world to do. It makes me feel very, very, very angry.
It's going to cost the council taxpayer a lot of money to get it picked up.
Malvern Council will clear bulky items for just over £27. But if you use a waste man and he fly tips, you're responsible and could face a bill of thousands.
This is what our scrap fly tipping campaign's about, making sure that the people that take your rubbish, you can dispose of it in the correct way.
The investigation's only just begun. They'll return with a specialist clean-up crew to delve deeper into the dump and search for evidence. Not all of the rubbish people chuck away is above ground. In among the 11 billion litres of effluent flushed down British U-bends every day is an assortment of blockage-inducing wet wipes and other non-flushable rubbish, putting a huge amount of pressure on our Victorian sewage network.
That's it. Blockage cleared.
Working day and night, the Lanes Group Thames Water team are battling to keep 30 tonnes of unflushable waste from blocking its pipes every day.
Thames Water Customer Solutions Centre, Stacey speaking. How can I help?
Can I just take your postcode, please?
So, no flooding then?
At the nerve centre, call handler Stacey's become an expert on excrement.
That's a bit of nice floating poo there. Looks like diarrhoea. It's disgusting. They need to go to the doctors if that's what's coming out of them. The biggest cause of our blockages are by far people putting things down the toilets that shouldn't be put down there. that looks like one unhealthy poo.
But someone who wants to get closer to the fecal frontline is former call centre colleague, 24-year-old Anna.
Oh, together, there you go. And they slot in nicely.
3 months into training, Anna is on bog-busting duty with the team's longest-serving drainage engineer, John.
That's us all set, so we're off to the first job of the day. In the last 20 years, you're about the fourth girl who's actually wanted to do this job. I'm intrigued, to be honest. Why?
Originally, when I started at Lanes, I was up in the call centre. You know, I wanted to go out in the field. I like getting my hands dirty.
You can get properly stuck in and I'll just stand back at a nice, clean, safe distance and give you some advice. That works for me.
The first call of the day sends them to a report of a stinking drain.
What do you think about it? You open an absolutely rotten, block-solid manhole.
I know it's human excrement and fat and bodily fat, for example, but I'm not up close in contact with it.
The worst of it is when something's been blocked for ages and ages and it's really, really rotten.
And it's stale.
Yeah.
First, they need to locate where the smell's coming from. But this old manhole looks rusted shut.
This one probably isn't going to come up.
No. And what's the smell like, sir?
Armed with this olfactory intelligence, the pair crack on in a bid to find the smelly smell.
That looks like it's rusted anyway.
The manhole hasn't been opened in years. It's going to take all of John's wealth of experience to get it open.
Get a sledgehammer.
And the pressure's on to show his young apprentice how it's done.
So John's been with Thames Water a fair amount of years. I think I'm going to learn a fair amount from him.
It's not his strongest performance. He can't get it up.
Do you want me to bounce wash your hammer?
You can try. Just put some tension on it. I spend far too much of my life doing this. I just wish they all came up easily, but I'll keep trying. Still not moving on this side. What I've seen already of Anna's performance, she's going to do well in this industry. She's willing to learn. For some bizarre reason, they've entrusted her trading to me. So let's hope I don't screw it up. We're nearly there.
Several tools later, some brute force and a fair amount of heavy breathing, and he's finally in.
Here we go. There's
no smell out of that one.
Only the drain turns out to be odour and blockage free. But the complainant isn't taking their word for it.
Sorry, sir, you can't get close. No, sorry, sir, no. We can't have that. Because you could go head first into that. No, sir, if you drop your phone in there, we can't get it out.
Right. There's no evidence of a blockage, so... Thank you very much. Yeah. You do a good job. You're more than welcome.
So it's frustrating because we can turn up to a site and we can see exactly what's causing it, and it's not even our drains. We assess the area and it's actually the surroundings that are causing the smell issue.
This team unblock around 3,500 drains a day across the UK. But this time it's a false alarm, and the cause of the pong is probably surrounding farmland.
We got there in the end. Some jobs are more urgent than others. So this is a very, very good place for Anna to start because she'll get a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge very, very quickly.
Just as they pack up, an absolute stinker of a job's called in.
We've got an overflowing manhole, which is causing effluent to enter the street. So we're now going to be sending John and Anna over there to investigate the issue further.
Life at Lanes.
Oh, yes. Literally, same different day.
Yeah.
Literally.
Same different manner.
Yeah.
Coming up, from poo-blocked drains to poo in plain sight with Dan and Jude.
Oh, there's that human poo. I'm not going to investigate anymore. Certainly not sniffing it.
And the scrap man pulled over for one offence commits another on camera.
He's there having a fag. He throws it across the passenger side, out onto the curb, and he gets fined for that along with the other offences.
Across the UK, there were over 1 million fly-tipping incidents reported last year. But in County Durham, the battle lines are drawn to help protect its areas of outstanding natural beauty. Leading their defence is Ian Holt and his team of neighbourhood wardens.
The warden's job is really varied. They do everything from dealing with people who have a whole load of rubbish in their yards or their gardens, through to dog fouling and littering. There's really no excuse. So our communities get exasperated by people dumping stuff.
Teaming up with local police and the Environment Agency, they've become specialists in using cutting-edge technology to catch criminal fly tippers.
We have sort of bullet cams that sit in the undergrowth. You will not know that they are there. It's a fly tipping hotspot. Actually, you know, there's a good chance that we're going to get images. And those images are really powerful for, you know, for taking through to court.
And some of those covert camera operations have caught the most brazen of acts. If this shameless fly tipper wasn't breaking the law, he'd be commended for his car-packing wizardry. But he packed himself into a tight corner when he chose this spot and was slapped with an £860 fine. And the repeat offender responsible for this lot believed his choice of a remote location would keep him out of trouble. But the camera never lies, and his van was seized and crushed while he ended up with a £350 fine and 180 days community service.
So this is a really quiet lane. You know, quietness often means there's not normally people about, which means that the fly tippers will go at those sorts of locations.
It's 8 a.m. Ian's on fly tip duty, and first on the list is to check his most prolific spots for activity.
It is a gorgeous place, you know. There's plenty of people walk their dogs, go for a run, go for a bike ride.
But as Ian parks at this beauty spot, it's clearly been enjoyed for more than its scenic views.
I can't believe this. People have dumped fireworks. They've clearly been having a bit of a party. There's beer cans, there's Coke cans, there's all sorts of other cans and bottles. It's just ridiculous.
The hunt is on for any evidence that could reveal the identity of the litter-louts.
I can see over here that we've got a package. This is really good because that's got name and address on. So that will give us a line of inquiry. We'll now go and talk to that person to find out, well, how's your waste end up here?
A solid lead, but it appears these fly tippers know no boundaries.
The more you go in here, the more you're finding more bags that have been dumped. Somebody's had to drive up here and chuck it all the way over there. It's just ridiculous.
It's a frustrating job, so the occasional show of support never goes amiss.
This is one of the locations where there's often fly tipping.
Well, I'm up here every day, so yeah, you see it regularly. It's just not right that people can dump their stuff out in the countryside. It's everybody's amenity.
It is.
And
who would want to spoil it?
they don't dump the stuff on their own doorstep, do they? So why would they leave it somewhere else?
Yeah.
Take it to the tip.
Lack of responsibility.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, what I mean, by the way.
Ian, Jimmy, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Cheers.
So that guy, he reflects what most people tell us, which is that they love Durham and they love it as a place, but they also really hate fly tippers.
All over Durham, Ian and his team place hidden cameras in fly tip hotspots.
We're going to put a camera in. It will be a really invaluable evidence for us. There's nobody going to be able to see that camera. I can't see it. I hope I can find it again. There you go.
Ian's team have access to a range of surveillance equipment, including body cameras, which have captured shocking results.
One of my members of staff, one of the wardens, was out on daily patrol in some back streets as it happens, and he comes across somebody who's carrying waste, some scrap metal on the back.
All waste carriers must carry an appropriate licence to prove they're a legitimate rubbish carrier, and wardens have the authority to stop and check.
He's off like a rabbit.
And while this scrap man might have tried to run, he's got nowhere to hide.
You got receipts for everything that's on the back? No.
Making illegal fly tippers pay for their crimes is what gets Malvern duo Jude and Dan up in the morning. Today, they're back at the scene of a huge fly tip to see if the work of the clear-up crew throws up any evidence.
There's a lot of it, as you can see, and our one little glimmer of hope is that as we dig deeper down, we might just find that little nugget of information that will point us in the direction of who's responsible.
Any scrap of information could lead to the identification of those responsible for this dump and a conviction.
That's the turnover we were looking for, just in case there was anything under there. There's no ID or anything in there. I'm sure the people responsible have probably done this type of thing before. Anyone want a nice, refreshing orange drink? That is, in fact, orange and not wee-wee, as I first suspected. However, I will not be drinking it. Look at it.
This pile of junk may have failed to reveal any evidence, but at least it's off to a better place, a legitimate tip.
Although, unfortunately, we haven't found anything in this one.
We haven't?
There's always.
It's always next time. Thanks, boys.
Despite their online campaign to scrap fly tipping and warning signs across the county, just a few miles away, another pile of junk has been reported.
The key is, if we can educate people, though, which is what we try to do.
Trying to give people the knowledge of what they're doing is wrong, that will make them think twice about doing it. Let's go and have a look.
Let's have a look, see. Oh, is that human poo? I'm not going to investigate anymore. Certainly not sniffing it.
OK, so we've got, looks like a bit of a household clearance, toys, paddling pool, dog bed.
Dog bed.
Toys. So somebody might have paid John in the pub 20 quid to take some stuff that they no longer need away.
Why? Take it to tip out, you know?
Stuck in a water-clogged ditch, a specialist team is needed to help retrieve the waste.
So we don't know how deep that water is.
We also don't know what's in it, of course.
There might be snakes in it. I don't know.
But leaving a mess like this just doesn't sit well.
Should we just litter pick that little bit?
Yeah.
All right.
OK, then let's get the litter pickers out.
Bin bags? Bin bag. Boom.
It costs the UK taxpayer over £58 million a year clearing up fly tips like these. So it's more important than ever to get their message heard.
I mean, like little signs were all right saying no fly
signs do work,
tipping.
yeah. But we need to go big.
People need to know what their responsibility is as, you know, a householder. Well, the scrap code is really important. So we need to do something with that.
To get people to look at that social media page.
But something really different, really big, and really in your face. We want every household in Worcestershire to see it.
Yeah, not just 20 people, 20,000 people.
Dan, give it some thought and think of a great idea.
You know me, I'm full of great ideas. Right, is there a bit more down the bottom we can grab?
Yeah.
Don't touch the poo. Ugh. Right.
While this Malvern duo wrestle with the waste blotting the landscape, it's an altogether different challenge when the filth's hidden underground. Like in Epsom, Surrey, where newbie Anna and her mentor John are contending with an overflow of human waste.
So we're blocking the road purely because we need the lorry on the manhole.
This blocked sewage pipe could send effluent back to where it came from, with overflow into the bathrooms of the surrounding properties. Most blockages can be cleared by dislodging the jam with specialist rodding, but Anna and John will have to find it first.
Fan, if you get a rod, threaded end first.
Yeah.
Tell me how deep it is.
It's about just over a metre.
Just over a metre.
We are putting another 2 metres, I believe, onto the rod, just to try and clear the blockage, so it might be further down on in the line.
It costs more than £100 million a year to keep the country's sewer network free of fatbergs and wet wipes. And John needs to use all his years of experience to find and clear this blockage before it brings catastrophe to local residents.
That should be completely empty of water. You should see a nice channel in the bottom with just a trickle going through. Because it's blocked, it's obviously filled up.
Because we've disturbed that blockage, you can smell something else coming through now, a different odour.
They might not be able to see the cause of this epic blockage, but newbie Anna has caught the whiff of success.
To passers-by, it is a strong smell of sewage. It's got an eggy smell, it's got a fatty smell, a foul smell. But to me, I've got used to the smell. And it's kind of a weird thing. I like the smell because you know you're getting work done.
But for John, it's less about the stench and more about giving it a wrench.
Right, bring it back and give it some welly. We'll keep going till it's either cleared or we run out of rods. She's getting stuck in. A lot of the people who start in this industry don't realise how strenuous it actually is. But in her case, she seems to be thriving on it.
Oh, good cram. Sorry.
It looks like you're through.
That's all free now.
What were you
But
hitting
it's not
on?
fly bin.
The level hasn't dropped. So...
No.
John's 40-metre supply of drain rods fails to budge this blockage, so he has to bring in the muscle.
I'll take the rods out and we'll set up for jetting.
With enough force to cut through flesh, the chisel jet requires a trained hand.
Has 4 forward-facing jets, or the rear-facing jets, which provide the thrust.
I'm not doing this one because John's more experienced and it is very high risk. Because we're using high pressure water, that can cause a number of injuries and infections. That's 2,000 PSI, that one. That will pierce your skin. We're obviously breaking it up a little bit, but not enough for the water to go through.
After 20-odd years of service, Bogbuster John is determined not to let this blockage beat him.
What's your thoughts?
I don't want to go, does it? I'll have to get something bigger out here.
But this time, he's no choice but to call in reinforcements.
This just can't get through it. So I'll get a bigger lorry in and let him have a go, we'll take it from there.
coming up. Jude and Dan's fly tipper fight goes supersize.
It's gonna look brilliant.
And the law closes in on a dodgy scrap dealer in Durham. In County Durham, Ian and his team of wardens utilise cameras to protect the county's much-loved beauty spots from illegal waste dumpers. And one of the team's body cameras recently captured the moment police backup was needed to catch a dodgy scrap man on the run.
On the back of that vehicle, he had fridges and freezers. He had washing machines. You know, the carcasses of those that could quite easily end up in a location like this.
Ian's team are authorised to stop waste carriers like these and check they have the appropriate licences.
But he sees one of my team, he's off like a rabbit. He's down and into the vehicle and away they're off. And we don't have any pursuit powers. So he gets on his radio and contacts the local police.
Sierra Whiskey 132, tell you. Yeah, is any officers available to pull over a scrap vehicle at Park Road, Southmore? Just made off from us.
Yeah, 214 officers.
This waste carrier had no intention of stopping, but unluckily for him, his escape route led him right past the front door of a local police station.
990, I've got it stopped outside Southmore section of us.
Within 20 seconds, there's a policeman out of the station, hand up in the middle of the road, pulled over.
You all right?
Yeah.
Stopped you a few weeks ago, didn't I?
Aye.
In a different vehicle.
Aye.
Assuming that you haven't got your documents again.
It turns out this getaway driver, carrying a shed load of fridges, washing machines and scrap metal, is already known to the warden.
This is the one that I stopped a few weeks ago when he made off from us. He didn't have any insurance on the other vehicle that he had.
Right.
Because it belonged to somebody. So I need to see whether he's got insurance and preferably if it states scrap.
Right, right.
Yeah. Excellent. The driver's sure. Uh-huh.
What's your date of birth? Any insurance then?
After police checks, the driver's unable to prove he has insurance again. Time for the warden to check his licence to carry away waste and scrap.
I'm assuming you haven't got a scrap metal collector's licence for Durham. That's where you're supposed to have it in the window. That's where it's got your picture on the back and that. You not got one of those? No.
All he's got is a piece of scrap paper with a number on it.
And this is supposed to be your waste carriers?
Aye, it's a number what you would write down.
What's the top number?
And his excuse is he's lost it. And consequently, he's got that. That's why he's got a piece of paper with it written on. That just doesn't cut it. You didn't have it. Then there's the consequences to follow.
You got receipts for everything that's on the back? No.
Nationwide, the number of dumped white goods has tripled in 7 years, placing a huge financial burden on local councils. And as the law closes in on this wrongdoer,
What you trading as? Business name?
I'm a chain house. I'm trading.
he loses his voice.
Once the questions get to a point that he can't answer them, he pulls out a cigarette and starts to sit back and go, OK, that's me, you've got me. You know, he's then starting to bemoan the fact that actually, you know, is it going to affect his livelihood?
You got a criminal record, like? Got a criminal record?
Been doing this for 9 years. Shot me. Taking life away.
It's because we need to see proof of where you're taking your scrap and everything like that. That's why you've got...
down at shopping now, it's like tapping bread out of my kid's mouth, this, like. Because I can't get a job. Like a proper job, so I'm like you say, I've got a criminal record. I can't even scrap now because I've got a criminal record.
He's picking up metal FOC, free of charge. He's undercutting probably legitimate business, and that's not right.
Job in it. You go and find us a job, what's going to make 500 quid? We'll drain like mine.
It's a job as a warden and I'll not scrap.
Aye, that's right.
He says he's making £500 a day. You know, that's the proceeds of crime. And actually, it wouldn't be that difficult for him to operate in the proper way. He got done for not having a scrap collector's licence. He got done for not having his waste transfer notes. And to top it, the police found that he didn't have the right insurances and towed his vehicle away as well.
And there was one more piece of bad news for this dodgy scrap man.
We review the video, we see it after the effect. He's there having a fag in the van and thinks, well, it's all right, I'm just going to throw it. And he throws it across the passenger side, out onto the curb, and he gets fined for that, along with the other offences.
That's another £80 on his rap sheet.
If you're not willing to play your part, get rid of your waste legally, we'll prosecute you.
Yeah, because it's did smell.
In Epsom, Surrey, Anna and John have a culprit proving trickier to catch. They're stumped by a mysterious drain blockage, threatening to send stinking effluent back into surrounding properties. So they've called in the big guns.
We call it a combi, but it's known as a recycler 414, so it's a bigger unit, more pressure, able to jet and suck at the same time.
Right, it's that round one there.
What one?
It goes from here to that verge, and I can't get through.
So we've got to jump that verge?
Yeah.
With 3 times the flow rate of John's jets, Super Bogbusters Reese and George are preparing to battle the blockage impossible.
So that is a spinner jet head going on the end. As you can see, it's a lot larger than the heads that we were using.
Oh!
Yeah.
They've got a lot more power, and they should be able to clear this blockage relatively simply. Well, he's trying to clear it, and it's not proving simple. This should go through it without any issues, unless we've got other problems. Roots or it's collapsed.
The spinner jet just doesn't cut it, but it reveals an important clue.
Look, it's pulled back there. There's going to be a load of root in there.
Yeah, a very large rhododendron hedge there, which is never a good sign. You got further than I did.
Roots blocking the pipe could explain why John's smaller hose couldn't cut through.
So that's the roots that we've so far pulled back, which suggests they're roots in the line.
Next up, with stronger blades, a chisel jet.
Oh! Pull out to 120. 120? 120.
120 now!
This one makes some headway, but the pipe's still blocked. Suddenly, John's sixth sense kicks in.
John, can you hear something?
John can hear the jet of water's getting stuck, but further up the line.
I can hear the jet.
Will the drain whisperer be able to crack it? Whether it's blocking up drains or in piles blotting the landscape, litter is Jude and Dan's nemesis.
Ugh, lots down there, Jude.
And in the historic Malvern Hills, it's not just household items being thoughtlessly dumped in this largely rural county.
So there's a big barrel.
There is.
There's 2 huge tyres. We've got a bit of a drum, possibly
Chemical.
could be chemicals, which, is it feel heavy?
Yeah, it's got something in it.
So it's got something in it, so it could be something quite harmful.
So we've got an unidentified chemical of some description or liquid, we don't know what it is, which obviously we need to try and investigate. If it leaks into the watercourse, obviously that could be catastrophic for wildlife and for anyone that came in contact with that chemical.
A potential toxic spillage needs a specialist team to clear it, but the damage could already be done, leaving Dan and Jude fuming.
Look, it says no fly tipping. Did they not see the sign? We need a bigger sign, Jude. We need a huge sign.
I know.
And a big hand that comes out and goes if they do it. There is a sign. They've clearly not listened to that information. Sadly, on this occasion, the CCTV wasn't operational.
But Dan is a man with a plan.
Perhaps we could have a big Hollywood-style sign somewhere. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? With scrap fly tipping on it in like 20-foot letters or something.
It may sound like a stretch of the imagination, but Dan's no stranger to bringing the Hollywood Hills home.
I'm thinking we could do some big letters like this. There we go. That's where I live.
It was ace, that.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that we should have massive letters in this lay-by?
No, not in this lay-by. We'll put them somewhere where there's high traffic. You know, I don't know, roundabout, something like that. And if we do it as a, what do the kids call it? Hashtag. If we do it as a hashtag,
yeah.
Then we can get out on social media. I don't know if the kids use Facebook anymore. It's all Instagram and stuff, but hey.
I guess when we go out on a little patrol, we might speak to, you know,
handful,
10, 20 people. But if we do that, we'll get out to
well, hopefully
hundreds of people.
Well, yeah, hundreds.
Come on then,
let's get and see if we can get this sign made. Excellent.
Coming up,
we have to laugh.
It's the day of reckoning for Dan and Jude.
I'm feeling a bit scared now.
I'm in.
And sewage buster John's unearthly connection leads to some answers.
I feel it through the ground.
As dawn breaks in Worcestershire, something's afoot in Malvern County Council's offices.
What letter do we want now?
P.
P. Another P.
Waste wrestlers Dan and Jude's campaign to scrap fly tipping has been falling on deaf ears.
Oh, it's definitely the biggest.
We have to laugh.
I'll go and get more letters.
But they've got a big plan to make sure their message will be impossible to miss.
I'm feeling a bit scared now.
I'm in.
Right, let's just get on with it. Down a bit, down a bit. Yeah, that'll do.
With Jude's eye for detail.
Down a bit more, down.
And Dan's DIY skills.
I hope your drill's got some charge
Oh,
in it.
let me go and get it. You just try and put one in the top of the G.
100% I didn't forget to charge it. But I've worked when I was blaming his tools. That's me.
You can sort of see what it's going to look like, and it's going to look brilliant.
Come down a bit for that one again.
Yeah.
Right, that was the last one. Let's have a look. That's awesome, Jude.
That's amazing.
The Hollywood Hills have landed at a Malvern roundabout. And within minutes, it's attracting attention.
It's about fly tipping and about what they're doing in the local area to prevent people dumping their rubbish on the outside. Definitely a good scheme to do. It's good for us guys as well, because we're just having a lot of rubbish being dumped on the front of our premises.
It's exactly the effect that we wanted.
And it's big.
It is big.
And that little hashtag, boom, get people looking on social media. The whole point is to get people to read the scrap fly tipping code. It's going to be seen by a lot of people. So happy days.
Can you just put a screw in there?
Where?
Dan and Jude may have nailed their campaign, but in Surrey, despite calling in the big guns, John still hasn't managed to flush out the mother of all blockages. And now his spidey senses are tingling.
What? John, can you hear something? What are you hearing, John?
I can hear the jet.
It appears drained deity John can channel Mother Earth's complaints by feeling the ground.
You can feel it swirling. The jet's swirling.
I feel it through the ground.
His magic touch has located where the jet's getting stuck.
So they're just having a look in the mapping now and re-evaluating.
It turns literally right on the end of here.
Are you showing us a man on there or not?
No. And then it's supposed to go straight down there.
They suspect the map of the drains isn't accurate, but John's sixth sense has located the exact spot they need to work around. A sharp bend in the line.
I didn't even get to there. Did I hold tack?
We've jumped through it all.
Yeah, you've gone through whatever I was stuck on. So now it's a different...
Right, our side eye's your jet. Try wiggling it through.
It's a real test of skill to navigate the high-powered jet around a 90-degree corner.
Hey!
We popped it! From a bit of twist and turn with the hose and the chisel jet.
Flushed with success, the stubborn blockage is finally clear.
I told him, twist turn, eh? Then he's done it.
Dodgy. All right, Jetta boy. No, I'm not high-fiving you now.
All right, leave me hanging.
You're doing me like a John. She is empty now. She is done. She's done. Over and done with. I'm going home. See you later.
Thanks, Combi.
And it's an impressive first notch on trainee Anna's bog-busting belt.
It's been an interesting job. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done very, very well.
Thank you.
You seem to be picking it up.
Been-
And, yeah, I think as it started to rain, I think it's time for us to head back to the truck and on to the next job.
Sounds good to me.
Next time, in Hampshire, an army of volunteer waste warriors tackle a treacherous fly tip.
I've done a risk assessment and this fly tipping is risky.
Lay-by crews face down atrocious weather, speeding traffic, drunk drivers and other hidden dangers.
Somebody's taken a dump at the far end. Well, I'm not going to stand in it.
While it's high times in Buckinghamshire,
There's the leaf that everyone talks about.
as trainee waste enforcement officers get to grips with a fly tip that takes criminality to a different level.
It might knock your head off.